Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Hoth, Chikne Path. For those of you who missed the first episode, this is inspired by the old Hindi saying that Veerwan Vidwan ke Hoth Chikne Path. And this is aimed at bringing the stories of those kids and students who had signs of success, in their childhood and schooling and college. And I'm happy to bring to you the first episode I did with from my school, modern school, and now I am with my professor from MIT Manipal, who is my partner in this. In fact, he and I co-creating this, and we thought of this together. He is the brand ambassador of all MIT alumni. Hello, Professor.
Yeah, good to see you once again, Sachin. Yeah, it's my privilege to be co-host of your podcast series. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, I had my real alchemist moment because I was talking to Professor, I was talking to various people that I want to have, who should I cover for the first podcast from MIT. And they said, you're going all over the place, but the man is right next to you, Anuj. So, Anuj, I know you are full of humility, and I accept that your journey has not been very tremendous. So let's put that in the background.
No, I'm very welcome to the show. Thank you very much. I'm very humbled and honored that you consider me in your definition of Hoth Chikne Path. I don't know, or I'm hopeful that I've done enough to qualify into your definition. But yeah, it's true. I did have a very successful academic journey as a child and as a young adult, and hopefully it turned out into something fruitful in my adult professional life also. So yeah, let's hope I qualify for this and I can answer some of your questions.
Yeah.
So Anuj, share with my viewers about your journey, from MIT onwards.
I grew up in a family where my father and my uncle were engineers from IIT. And we were always, raised with the notion of wanting to go to an engineering school. We had a lot of exposure in our discussions with our parents and our elders. They ran an electrical engineering business.
Yeah.
So we had exposure to looking at products, concepts as kids. So we always had this thought and notion that we would eventually
End up as engineers.
I think little did we realize what it really meant, but somehow we gravitated towards that.
Taking a step back,
Yeah.
what made you or your family take the decision for MIT, first of all?
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think at that time, as we already know, I think the number of options for engineering schools at the time,
There was no Nadella.
yeah, there was no such thing.
There was no Nadella.
But in general, I think the number of options beyond the IITs and possibly Pilani were very few.
Yes.
And MIT was the one engineering school destination which seemed to be head and shoulders above everybody else, apart from the IITs and maybe Pilani at the time. And we also had a lot of other people who we knew who were academically extremely brilliant.
Yes.
But just because of the law of numbers, they never made it to IIT or to Pilani, and therefore a lot of them ended up in Manipal. And I think consequently the level of the student body was exceptionally high. And I think that ends up leading to a good learning experience overall.
Nice.
Okay, we'll come back into MIT again later, but let's first give the viewers something about your story post MIT.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think the Manipal years were very certainly defining years of my life because I came back, I went to do an MBA, but eventually I ended up in an engineering industry, right? And no matter how we look at it or no matter how we analyze it, I think it would have been practically impossible for me and my cousin Rishi. I think when so as soon as we finished from MIT, we worked here for a year just to get a little bit of practical experience. And practical experience really at that time really meant like shop floor experience, things like that. And post that our fathers were very keen that we should get a management education. In those days it was still difficult, but it was possible to get in to a top American school without work experience. So with 1 year experience we went. Today it's practically impossible. You can't go without 3 or 4 years of work experience. So anyway, we came back, and we found a company which had a very strong base, a very strong platform. We could see that it had a lot of good things, a lot of strong fundamentals, strong base, strong foundations. But it was a tough market economically when we came in, and we knew that some things were going wrong. We could make out.
You guys were what they say, that an ideal company is one where the owner works like a manager and the manager works like an owner.
Pretty much. I think that's a good way to say it. So we tried to achieve that, and we tried to get that out of our team as well. I hope, and this is what I think what Siemens saw in us was a company with good fundamentals, good engineering fundamentals, strong team, and also very good corporate governance. We were extremely clean, very transparent. We really operated maybe better than a lot of listed companies in terms of how we disclosed things, how we managed things, how we managed finances, how we separated personal and corporate finances. So it was a very clean corporate governance.
But I have one last question for the business journey. That in today's time, when we see family businesses just falling apart, and most of 99% of the families are quarreling. You open the newspaper, you hear big names, but you guys made that your strength, and even till date, you enjoy a very, very warm relationship amongst your family. So, how did that happen?
I think it would go down to the value systems. I think more than anything else, we always focused on or our dads always focused on, or made us focus on, achieving goals and targets, and our attention was always on those achieving those goals and targets, and not on
profit share,
not on squabbling on who's getting what.
Dad showed you what they wanted you guys to do.
Yes, very much, because they had a very
the change you want. So they were the change.
Well, they had a very great relationship as entrepreneurs who started, and we carried that relationship forward in the same sense, where I think we didn't focus too much on you, me, he. We focused on the work, and then we tried to keep everything very clean.
So now going back to MIT, do you remember your classmate, the guy?
Which one?
Uday Sardana.
Hi Uday, welcome.
Oh yeah.
My pleasure.
So before we start about the MIT journey, I wanted to have a professor and a classmate to bitch about Anuj.
All means.
So Uday,
Anuj is always the nice guy who would always do things correctly by the book.
Yeah.
Like he was my classmate, and his brother Rishi was also my classmate. We would sit on the same bench. So, but in between the three of us, we used to have only 2 notebooks. One for me and Rishi, and one for Anuj. So Anuj would always do the correct thing. He would write down notes. And at the end, me and Rishi would do the smart thing. We would copy his stuff.
What is it that makes MITians stand out? Why is it that the Satya Nadellas and the Anuj Khannas are coming from?
Yes, you are self-disciplined.
Yeah. I also think, Professor, that there was a lot to do again with the demographics of the people who came to Manipal, and also the atmosphere that Manipal had. So one in terms of the demographics, as I said, really maybe extremely brilliant or hardworking kids went to IIT, and maybe the next rung came who were very smart, very intelligent, but were maybe a bit more all-rounder.
Exactly.
Right? So that made a big difference. And then Manipal also offered, we didn't have that kind of very, which I hear sometimes, I'm not sure, very cutthroat academic competition like the IITs have or something like that. It had a more congenial atmosphere. You were doing well, you were not doing well, you were helping each other. It was not very cutthroat.
Yeah.
That atmosphere was more friendly.
Yes.
And so that, I think, lends to an overall, let's say, rounded approach to life.
Exactly.
And also the place is very nice.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful place. You had, opportunity to experience nature. Yeah, nature. There was a reasonably thriving, ecosystem. So
Yes.
I think overall, you had the opportunity to have a rounded
Exactly.
growth,
Exactly.
All-round
all-round development, as opposed to maybe if you were in a very academically oriented, very small place, nothing but studies. It was not like that. So I think Manipal that way has done, and so even then there was sports and of course now we see the facilities there are unbelievable. Yeah.
So you can say that MIT had engineering and life management embedded.
Oh, absolutely, that for sure.
In fact,
Anuj, on the campus life, like there were so many aspects of the campus life, the motorcycles, the safe motorcycling areas, where you drive your motorcycles and not feel, scared of, and the rock shows and the beach and trekking to Endless Point and all those things, and so many of the campus had the ragging. So what were the 2 or 3 life lessons that you learned from your stay in MIT that helped you in your journey in C&S Electric?
So you're talking not academic.
Non-academic. You already talked a lot about academic.
Yeah.
So I think I was not so good in academics. I like to concentrate on the other side. No, absolutely.
No, I think on the non-academic side, see, we were all coming from the northern part of India.
Exactly.
We were obviously all coming from more comfortable home, familiar environments. Now, many of us had not been to a boarding school or a hostel, and so I think the whole the whole experience taught us. Number one, it taught us how to adapt. Taught us how to adapt to new circumstances, new situations.
So that adaptability was
I think
skill that you develop, which help you later.
Absolutely. It's an important skill that you take through to your life.
So adaptability
is one, and I think the other one was and I don't mean this in a negative way. So I think we all faced personal tough situations when we were in Manipal, right?
No.
Outside the classroom, not only inside the classroom. And those situations trained us to
like
be
ragging or
maybe ragging may be one of them.
Only in the first year.
It could be one of those things, but there were many other things which I don't know. Maybe you may not have enjoyed the food there, or may not have liked where you stayed, or you may not have liked the living arrangement, whatever it is. And overall, I think what that did is it forced you again to become tougher. And I think at the end of the thing, I would say
when
that
the going gets tough, the tough gets tough.
I think MITians, most of the people I know, they don't get troubled by adversity so much.
Exactly.
So they are able to, take the situation.
There's no reality.
So the first you said adaptability.
Yeah.
The second we can call it when the going gets tough.
Resilience. I think
Resilience. Yes. Okay. And a third one maybe.
I think these are the two, and I think the other one maybe is again reaching multicultural.
Like being very close to people,
meeting people from all different parts to the
fabric of our nation.
I think I understood India much better after Manipal.
Yes.
So that for sure. I think multicultural, meeting people from different walks of life. Again, when you come from a New Delhi particular school, fine. Of course, demographics are also varied in every place, but it is the majority of the demographics of a particular type, North Indian, Delhi based, so on and so forth. Whereas you go to a Manipal, people from all over in fact pretty much from all over the world also. People who are coming from the Middle East, or some people had come from somewhere else, or their parents were living in the US, or so many different types. So all of a sudden your world expands, And I think I agree with Uday. You understand your country much better after.
Uday, if you have to add to this, what was the one big takeaway for you from Manipal outside the academics?
I stopped judging a person for the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he eats. Where I accept him more as an individual, and I try to understand how things are in other parts of the country, because there are people who are my age, my similar background, in various parts.
The diversity.
The diversity.
You began to accept the diversity.
The diversity, yes, that's what you begin to.
Work in a multinational. What is multinational? People come from different places, beyond having operations in different countries. But when you are working with people from different continents, if you can't adjust a person from a different place within your own country, how you can adjust with others? That's the beauty of Manipal. Could be exaggerating. If any Indian has to go to space, the MITian can go, because he can survive there also.
Possibly. I think it's
With an alien.
It's been a
Alien will not be a surprise for him.
It's been a lovely session talking to all of you, and I think we've had a great group together. And I have the privilege that the principal of MIT told me that he gave me his very good encouragement for this, and he said he will share this with the current students of MIT. So if we all can share a little message to the upcoming students, starting with Anuj first.
Yeah.
Well, I think since Sachin has very carefully avoided any discussion on academic matters, let's close the session, at least from my point, with a few academic points. And I think two or three things at least two things that come to mind for me. So engineering is a tough course. It's not supposed to be an easy course. One of the things that engineering teaches you is discipline and diligence. You have to be regular, you have to work on time, you have to submit things on time, you have to keep studying on time, and try not to keep things all the way till the end. So that's discipline and diligence is one thing. And the other thing which I think that the engineering teaches you, again, sometimes subjects are extremely tough and sometimes you just don't get it, right? You don't understand it. But I think technical concepts sometimes take time. You have to sit over them, you have to mull over them, and you have to discuss them, and finally you do get them. So I think perseverance is the other, is at least for me one of the other lessons that I learned from engineering, that yes, sometimes you don't get things first time, but if you keep at it, then you do eventually get it.
Oh, great. Yeah. Uday, you?
Coming back to the same thing, I would say that you have now the opportunity to understand people from various parts of the country. Rather than judging them, accept them, learn from them. You might do one thing the best, he might do the other thing the best. The point about being in Manipal is that when we all go out, we all do everything in the best way.
Wow.
And to add
Let's keep the last word with me, but first you, then me.
Manipal, I feel, builds long-term relationships.
Yeah, that's true.
Than any other institute.
I want to share to the students that these idiots that you hang around with, you may feel that they're a bunch of idiots, but keep in mind that these are going to be your friends for life. These are the guys who we will be hanging out even after 50 years. And you can see I'm deeply connected with Anuj.
It's the best example.
So many of these guys. So have fun and study hard and make deep relationships. And yeah, super. So once again, Professor, thank you so much for especially flying down for this. I really appreciate your effort.
It's my pleasure.
And Anuj, yeah, I know that you're a very private and a very guy full of humility and everything, but thank you so much for being out of your comfort zone.
Most welcome.
And being a part of this.
Most welcome, and thank you, Professor.
Yes.
Thanks, Uday,
Pleasure.
for making this happen. Yeah.